Good morning. Have we started? Morning. Have we started? Morning. Started. Morning. Morning. I'm not hearing anything if you guys are talking. Not hearing anything if you guys are talking. Not hearing anything. Hi. Hi.
So we're on. Okay, we're live.
All right. Call the meeting to order of the Zionsville Architectural Review Committee, Tuesday, April 11th. We have 4 members here in person, 1 person online for 5 total members in attendance, which is a quorum. Next item of business is do we have to do a roll call? So there's like a record of who's here.
I'll show you in minutes.
It's a good idea.
All right. All right, so David Roush,
Here.
Mike Billig,
Here.
all right, Steve Freeland,
Here.
Kara Weber. Not here. Tom Castellini,
Here.
Carol Mullet. Not here. Justin Wagner. Not here. Todd Rotman here. All right, approval of minutes, January 10th, 2023. I don't see those in the packet here, so, all right, so we will push that to next month.
Hang on a minute. So look, if I can clarify, because I distributed the minutes.
They're for the next month, so January, we still haven't received them.
Oh, okay.
I may just go together this afternoon or something, so we can get them on the agenda.
Okay.
That'd be great.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. All right, the other minutes to be approved is March the 14th.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, minutes are approved. Moving on to reports. We have a $60,000 budget this year, of which there have been no applications for that money, so it is still available. All right. Moving on to old business, we have an application from the Tipsy Mermaid. Would the applicant like to make a presentation?
Sure. Let me first of all recuse myself.
Let the record show that David Roush has recused himself.
Thank you. So, effectively, this is back up in front of the committee as the original approved application in 2021 expired as a function of the accounting years from the town. So, just as a recollection, that original application was made for approximately $38,000. And there was a grant approved for $34,000 and change. I don't have the exact numbers.
34,250.
34, yeah. The reason the number was less than the application was because at the time there was a sharing of available funds with another project, Nicholson Orthodontics, and so that was allocated accordingly. So with the expiration of the grant, if you will, and encouragement to sort of renew it here in 23, we've also and with the project now well along in construction, we have validated accounting from our contractor and the addition of several items along the way that have influenced cost a little bit more. And with that, we've actually then brought the new application forward that shows a modest increase in the request from, let me see, get the numbers here exactly. Up to the request in front of you today is $42,402. On a percentage basis, that is still underneath the 40% maximum allowable by the program, and is just a straight line allocation based on the previous percentage request. So the reason for the grant request going up is, as I mentioned, we've had some additional costs as it relates to final pricing from the contractor on facade and facade related items. And then also the owner has actually elected to do a couple of additional scope items that we've run by the liaisons, Tom and Todd, relative to the front porch, which has some tiredness to it. So we're actually, since the original application, going to replace the railings and paint the columns and clean up the entire existing front porch as well. So otherwise, the project is largely much as has been reviewed and approved in the past, but be available to answer any questions the committee might have.
Yeah, I think to kind of piggyback onto your comments, there were some existing siding materials that were found during demolition, some damage that maybe wasn't anticipated, and then like getting rid of those the wall around the porch, which is kind of not original or not historically appropriate necessarily for this style of home. All these improvements that have not only the construction costs, continue to go up and have continued to go up for the last several years, and your accounting now reflects actual costs, but also some of the additional work that's being done is actually, I think, in our view, improvements to the character of the building and in keeping with the original style of the building more so. So we support those changes that have occurred during the course of the project.
Very much so, I agree.
Any other comments?
No, so it's unfortunate that we don't have the quorum to be able to approve this.
Yes, so we only have 4 voting members on this matter. We need 5 in order to have a quorum. So we would not be able to vote on this at this time. So we will have to push that off to next month.
I would say that for the record, though, that those in attendance, I think, are all advocating for the recommendation of the proposal.
Yes, I would agree.
Yes,
I would agree with that. Over the course of the last year or so with this project, the presentation of this last month and with the presentation of it this month, I don't think there's been any negative comments from any of the committee members. So I would not anticipate any issues as well.
And this would come out of our present 60, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
just to clarify that.
Yeah, and to clarify, we don't have any other applications or known or potential applications at this time. So we do have the full $60,000 available to us. Our typical grant max is set at 25 typically, but in special circumstances, i.e. The importance of the project or lack of other projects, that would need the funding, we've been able to allocate more money towards the project. And I think this would be case in point, for that.
And Todd, for the question, since the cap is now 60 instead of 50, does that 25 adjust as well?
Well, I think that it should, but it'd be something we'd have to kind of bring up and vote on and everything. Since we do have flexibility, in like the specialness of a project to approve more, I don't know that a formal measure of changing that 25 would be necessary, because that would still allow us to fund something for more than that if we had the availability.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else from the applicant?
No, other than thank you for the support, and we're ready to be done.
Yeah. Yeah. Sounds good.
It's going well. We're closing in on it.
All right. So moving on to new business. Is there any new business? All right, seeing none, moving on to other business.
I don't have an update
Okay.
for the business, downtown business. management committee.
All right.
Do you have an update on the status as far as what's coming up next in this process?
Not well, it should be an agreement with Duke. I have an agreement in front of the town now with Duke Energy to replace the sodium vapor lamps all through not only the business district, but all through Zionsville. Now, it's about 365 of them. But the project would start in the business district. We have new Cobra head designs that will be used, and color temperatures would be the same, the 3000 Kelvin, about a 50-watt bulb. So the lighting would be consistent. We're just waiting for response from the town to be able to move this forward. And with Duke, and once we get into their queue, we'll be fortunate to have it done by fall.
You know, somebody put out a very nice grid that kind of tasked different people's oversight of some aspects of this plan. Are we who have a name by something, are we to do something, or was that just a flag that, and I think I got asked to do something on the bike racks and some other things. Is there work involved with that, or was that just for us to keep that idea alive?
There is much work involved in it as you want. If you're asked to look at bike racks, then the next step would be finding the locations where those bike racks could be.
Okay.
And the cost of the bike racks.
Okay.
And then the approval of, and then from that, whether we have the approval from the town to see how those bike racks fit within traffic patterns of the village, where they're going to be pedestrian to traffic.
Okay.
And then what the cost of that would be, and that's kind of our mission, that when we do things of that nature, we bring a full package to the table.
Okay.
And solutions to this is what, where, and why.
Well, maybe for a reminder, then we should ask the committee, anybody's got a name assigned to something, to make sure that that's on their agenda, because I think in some ways, in my mind, it's not left. I was just thinking, what is my role? So I'll have bikes installed by June for bike racks. I got a place to put my bike when I come to town.
Well, I'd like to think it was that easy, or I would have had the lighting project on its way. No, if it was, yeah, you can't let entrepreneurs in doing this. We find a solution. Here's a solution. We can get this done tomorrow.
Yeah.
There's just a few more layers that may not be used to having to.
Well, just so that the task of it doesn't get lost in that process. So.
Yeah.
No, there's a lot of things that aren't going to get lost. It's just if you don't stay on them, they'll never happen. And,
yeah.
So if you stay on top of them, eventually they'll get done, but you have to.
Somebody's got to be a champion for it.
You got to write it, because if not, it'll get put back in the farm.
All right. Any other business? Oh, hearing none. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
All right. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All right. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Meeting is adjourned. Next meeting is Tuesday, May 9th at 8 a.m. Thank you.
Take care.
Public service.